Good evening from Madison Square Garden, where the Rangers are getting set to take on the Ottawa Senators. But there's more on MSG's networks. The Devils and Panthers are playing on MSG+. This is New York Rangers hockey. The New York Rangers are presented by Chase, and happy Hanukkah from all of us at Madison Square Garden on the first night of this holiday. Under the iconic ceiling of the world's most famous arena, the Rangers get set to take on the very pesky Ottawa Senators, who lately have been coming on. Good evening, everybody. Al Trawick in the Visa Gameside studio. The Rangers don't have a player with as much talent who's been quieter than Chris Kreider. And the coaches have done something very interesting. They've moved Kreider up to a first line with Rick Nash and Oscar Lindberg, hoping that gets him going and gets some offense as well. For more on tonight's game, as we look forward to watching that line, here are Sam Rosen and Joe Micheletti. Sam?
Well, as you said earlier, Al, it's must-watch TV when it comes to the Rangers. Good evening, everyone. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. And for the Rangers, Joe, just trying to get something positive going after this rough little stretch here.
Yeah, it's been, the biggest thing has been scoring. So part of that move, not only to get Chris Kreider going, but they're trying to balance out the scoring as well, because they've had to rely on just one line, the Brassard line, in the last number of games to get them goals. So as well as Oscar Lindberg has played, why not give him a chance with a few other players?
Rangers had that great stretch of 9 wins in a row. Now they've fallen into a rough spot. That 9-game winning streak, the goals for were up, the goals against down. Over the last 9 games, the reverse has happened, and the Rangers are 3-5-1.
That's a flip-flop that's on the negative side, that's for sure, because your goal scoring starts going down, and the goals against. And again, for so long, we've heard the coaches talk about playing better defensive hockey in their own zone, wanting their defensemen to start playing at a higher level. It hasn't totally happened yet. They're on their way there. But when your goal scoring dries up, boy, it puts a lot of pressure on your goaltending.
As Al said, keep your eye on that number 1 line. It'll be Oscar Lindberg centering Rick Nash on the right, Chris Kreider on the left. The big story here is Oscar Lindberg getting so much responsibility.
Well, he deserves it. 10 goals on the season. He's right up there in rookie scoring in the National Hockey League, right up there in Ranger scoring as far as that is concerned. And he hasn't shown that he's got a weakness in his game. That's why now they're playing him in all situations. He'll go in on the forecheck. He's got a very underrated shot, as he showed there against Boston. He's getting power play time as he scores a goal there on the power play, and he's just not afraid of going in any area on the ice. I mean, there he is. He scored the only goal against Colorado. I mean, this is a kid that's averaged under 13 minutes a game this season. His minutes deserve to go up, and I think it starts tonight.
Ottawa Senators have had back-to-back overtime wins against Chicago and the Islanders, and they're 8-0-1 in their last 9 visits to Madison Square Garden. Our scouting report is brought to you by your local tri-state area Land Rover retailers. Look at the leaders. Erik Karlsson is the defending Norris Trophy winner and the best offensive defenseman in the NHL. And Mike Hoffman, what a scoring streak he's on. Goals in 4 straight games and a 7-game point scoring streak.
Yeah, this is really something with these 2 players. Ottawa's the only team in the league with at least 5 players with 20-plus points or more. Only team. They can score and they can move the puck. Here's Hoffman. What a rifle of a shot he's got. Not only the slap shot, but the quick release. He's changed his release, the way he shoots the puck now. He did have 27 goals last season, but had a bad second half where he had just 4 or 5 goals. Now, defensively, Erik Karlsson, they were disappointed with the start he had to the season. Offensively, he was getting points, but his overall game wasn't where they wanted to. But guess what? It is now. 2-time Norris Trophy winner. He's on pace to score 100 points in the National Hockey League this season, which would be the first time since the 91-92 season when Brian Leetch did it.
The best name of the night tonight is Ryan. For Ottawa, it's Bobby Ryan, who is red hot with 22 points in the last 19 games. For the Rangers, it's the captain, Ryan McDonagh. His job will be to shut down the Senators and maybe score as well. We are back on a nice night in New York and a great night for hockey. Closed captioning tonight is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know. Let's check out our Audi goaltending matchup, and it's a good one. Henrik Lundqvist with 13 wins, tied for second most in the league. Braden Holtby of Washington leads with 16. Save percentage, .937, is now second in the league because Antti Ranta has qualified with 7 starts and is now the league leader. Across the way, Craig Anderson, he has been carrying the load. This is his 11th consecutive start. 34-year-old Craig Anderson, over 5 seasons with the Ottawa Senators. And he's had a good record. And last time against the Rangers was strong. A shootout loss. Chris Kreider will open up with that line of Lindbergh centering Kreider and Nash.
Well, let's face it, the Rangers need some of their players. We're going on game number 30, this season. So it's time for some of these players that got off to a slow start to start producing offensively. Chris Kreider is one of them.
On defense, Mark Stahl and Dan Boyle for the Rangers. Mark Stone, number 61, on for Ottawa with Zach Smith, number 15. Erik Karlsson is on. Karlsson has had 5 3-point games this season. The lineup coming in at the top of your screen are brought to you by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Is lifted out of play.
Yeah, Alain Vigneault before the game was just talking about the way this league is and how, every game, and you look at other teams that, and Ottawa's similar to what they are, because the coaches told us before the game, the reason, he said, the reason we're winning is that we're outscoring our mistakes. They're talking about all the bad plays they're making with the puck, offensive zone, defensive zone, neutral zone. I said, you sound like the Ranger coaches. And he said, you know what? Nowadays, if you don't handle the puck right, make the right plays, there's too much good competition in this league to be able to get away with it.
Around the boards in the offensive zone, Rangers have Dominic Moore on with J.T. Miller and Jesper Fast. Dylan McElrath and Keith Yandel remain a defensive pair. Kevin Klein remains out with the slap muscle injury. And we promised him the other night we'd give him a shout-out after we gave Derek Stepan a shout-out. Derek was appreciative. So, Kevin Klein, we miss you as well.
Well, I think we've said it enough how important he is to this team, and I think he's been their best defenseman this season, as he was most of last season.
Girardi made a good play. Zuccarello brings it in with Brassard. He shoots and it's blocked. And Chris Weidman with the block, number 45.
That's a real good defensive play by Weidman that's known mostly for his offense.
Off the board, Bobby Ryan will stop the "Let's Go Rangers" chant up from the crowd early. As the crowd gets into it, Rangers have won only 1 game in their last 6. Here's Bobby Ryan moving across. He has points in 13 of his last 14 games and 17 of his last 19.
He is a great passer of the puck. I mean, we know he's got ability to score goals, but I'll tell you what, when he's got the puck, you better watch the other men that are joining the rush, because he can find them.
Borowiecki, number 74, the defenseman, moving it up ahead to David Jarzynski, number 59. Jarzynski just called up, played his first game of the season last night. Played 12 games with Ottawa 2 seasons ago. There's Karlsson going in, and a good defensive job by Ståhlberg. Limited the shot. Tanner Glass heads the other way. There's Ståhlberg and Stoll. Ståhlberg, backhand was stripped aside by Craig Anderson. Ottawa with a 3-2 win over the Islanders in overtime last night, a game in which the Islanders led 2-0 past the 8-minute mark of the third period. And then the Senators got 2 goals in the third, 1 in the last minute of regulation, and then Erik Karlsson in overtime.
Well, they're dangerous, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mark Stone gets the first one to get them within 1, and then Hoffman has scored so many big goals. He scores in the last minute. And then Erik Karlsson just finishes off the play.
I mentioned another 3-point games. Had 5 3-point games this season.
Yeah, 2 in succession.
Here's Kreider with Nash. Yandel also in on the rush. The shot wide. Oh, Kreider let it go. Boy, he's got so much strength. So much on that shot, but he missed the net. Zach Smith, number 15. Around the boards for Zibanejad, and now Stone gives it up. Jesper Fast heads the other way. Good pace early in this game. A bouncer that's gloved on a hop by Greg Anderson, and play stops. 3:49 here in the first.
There's the head coach of the Ottawa Senators, Dave Cameron. Did an excellent job when he took over last season about midway through, and they were not a playoff team, and they had a remarkable second half to get into the playoffs, and done a real nice job with this team.
The handle on his team, he said at times, like last night, they played very, very well, and at times they dipped down. He said, we've got to eliminate those spots where we don't play quite as well, and then we'll be a good team. Right now they're in third place in the Atlantic Division. Chiasson, Alex Chiasson, number 90, takes a hit from Dan Boyle, stays with the puck. Double team, Stahl trying to take it away. Brassard is back there. Pajot, number 44, Jean-Gabriel Pajot. Around to Chiasson behind the net. The wraparound try on the backhand went through the crease, and Zuccarello takes over. Zuccarello on the move. He zooks up from the crowd. He stopped at the line as he tried to carry in. Lead to Brassard. Dropped it back to Hayes. Down to Brassard. And deep. The shot off the arm of Anderson, who was hugging the post.
Oh, that's a good play. He had a little bit of room just underneath the crossbar and just missed.
Bobby Ryan the other way. Pass across, intercepted by Fast. Good defensive play by Jesper Fast, coming back in his own zone. Ryan McDonough takes over. Dan Girardi lifts it into the Ottawa zone. Carlson. Trying to move it is Hoffman, number 68. This is Mathot. Around to Carlson. Up the boards for Ryan, who tips it ahead. Kyle Turris, number 7, who's their number 1 center, was a question mark coming into the game. Suffered a leg injury in the third period of last night's game, and was a question mark. Went in the warm-ups and able to go.
Dan, when I saw that little that injury take place last night, I thought he was out for the season.
Wow.
His leg went in about 6 different directions, and he had to be helped off the ice. This was right at the end of the game last night. A couple of minutes left. I am so surprised that he's out there, but good for him.
There's Chris Neal, number 25. Has long been a battler and a nemesis, and Neal and Tanner Glass going at it. They separate and head the other way. Keith Yandle's got it back. 6 minutes in, each team with only 1 shot on goal in the game. The skating has been good. It's been back and forth, up and down the ice. Cody Ceci for Ottawa with the puck. Nash and Lindberg on the forecheck. The pass goes off the boards all the way down, and the race for the puck, it's an icing.
Well, here's the injury that we're talking about. This happened last night. Casey Cizikas and Turris, left side of your screen, right there. How he goes down, and that right leg, I mean, it's scary to look at. It was going in all different directions. I watched that and I go, this guy's out for a long time. Needed the help, and then, they took x-rays. X-rays obviously came out negative, and they said it'll be a game-time decision. This is the first of four games on the road.
And the decision was to play. And good for the Ottawa Senators. That's saved by Anderson. He holds on. 6:20 gone by in the first. Vino wants to know what John Giannone thinks of the goings-on so far. Here's John between the benches.
Well, he's going to hear me talk about him because I often watch Alain Vigneault's body language and tone of voice, the things he says as well, to sort of determine what he feels about the game. Sometimes he lets the game breathe early. He's not doing that this time. He has been very vocal to his team, very encouraging. He likes the pace that they've shown so far, and that's been important, especially when you consider that the last game, the Rangers had 3 shots on goal in the entire first period. They already have 2 here, a little more than 6 minutes in. We've seen Oscar Lindberg on the first line. He's out there for the faceoff now. Al will talk to him between periods. We've got Steve Valiquette and Ron Duguay in studio tonight. Steve will have his analysis after the first period, guys.
Thanks, John. We'll be checking in with John throughout the game. Dan Boyle out to Keith Yandle. Back to Boyle. Sending it wide of the net. Carlson was checking Boyle on the play. Lindbergh was caught up by Zach Smith. Nash got it back to Boyle. Saved by Anderson. And that right pad. Carlson went down in the neutral zone.
Yeah, Kreider got a stick on him, and I think both officials either missed it or elected just to let it go.
That steal by Stone. Mark Stone in deep against Dan Boyle. Stone fires across. Kevin Hayes plays it off the boards, taken back by Curtis Lazar. Lazar, number 27, with the puck. Check there by Yandel. Puck pops loose. Zuccarello tried to move it. It was blocked. Borowiecki in deep. Penalty upcoming on Ottawa in the offensive zone.
Yeah, Dan Boyle got taken down in the corner and got interfered with, and so the Rangers will have the first power play. And Zuccarello and Borowiecki having a few words. Zibanejad just back in the lineup last night after missing one with some concussion symptoms. And then here it is right here. There's Zibanejad. That's clearly an interference on Zibanejad. So the Rangers with an early chance to take a lead.
And this Rangers power play is brought to you by Volkswagen. Rangers are 11th in the league on the power play.
Got to be careful of this Ottawa penalty killing there. Tied with Montreal for most shorthanded goals in the league with 6. And that man that just shot the puck down has 3 of those.
Ottawa ranked 24th on the penalty kill, but of late they've been pretty good. Last 2 games they've given up a power play goal in each game, but prior to that they've been solid.
Oh yeah, last 11 games, Sam, they're at about 85%, which is very good.
Zuccarello, Nash, Brassard, Boyle, and McDonough for the power play. Here's Ryan McDonough, the pass kept in by Zuccarello.
A good play by Zuccarello. That was a pass by Ryan McDonough. If he had a chance to do it again, I don't think he'd make it. He put Zuccarello in a tough spot.
Good pass to Brassard. He finds an open man. The touch pass to Yandel. Shot it wide. Kreider has come on. Kreider in the circle as Brassard goes around the net. And Kreider is in front. Moving with the puck. Yandel set up. The shot went wide. Kreider gets the rebound. Checked by Jared Cowan. Out to McDonough. Now to Brassard. Brassard to Kreider. Tried to stuff it in. It was blocked away. Brassard to Kreider.
Borowiecki got the right leg on that opportunity by Zuccarello.
Yandel. Back to McDonough. He scores! It was Ryan McDonough. It's a power play goal. And the Rangers take a 1-0 lead.
You know, I don't think Chris Kreider will get credit for this, or may not even get an assist, but he starts it behind the net and then goes back to the front. He should get an assist. Here comes the shot. Kreider in a perfect place to screen Anderson, the goaltender. Right in front of him. I don't think he touched it, but Anderson, who's been so good in this building, you can just see Kreider does a really good job here. Anderson has no chance of seeing that shot, and it was a beauty by McDonough.
So the Rangers grab the lead. We were talking with Rangers associate coach Scott Arniel, who handles the power play, and talking about the recent improvement of the power play.
Man, they've been good, Sam. Yeah. I mean, and they don't get many power play chances.
That's the key.
You don't get a lot of chance to practice it, yet, you know, just about every one of their power plays, you know, something happens. It's effective.
The steal by Dominic Moore as he takes it in deep. Rangers wanted to get on top of Ottawa early. Ottawa having played in the overtime game last night in Ottawa.
Yeah, they got to the hotel about 2 a.m. last night. Or early this morning, I should say.
Girardi sending out Jared Stoll. Thus far, the Rangers have held the Senators to only 1 shot on goal. Back pass, Shane Prince, number 10 on the ice with David Krzyzewski.
Rangers goal is 4th of the season, a power play goal scored by number 47.
Ryan McDonough being announced as the goal scorer. The cheers go up from the crowd for the Rangers captain. Mikey Gandil back for it.
And number 20, Chris Kreider.
Gandil and Kreider get assists. We get McElrath. Good shot, a good save by Anderson. Nice play by McElrath joining the rush. Set up for the good shot. Anderson made the save. Ryan McDonough has given the Rangers the lead.
Captain has given the Rangers a 1-0 lead, a power play goal. You'll see the shot. Zach Smith is number 15 in white, directly in front of the shot. It just ticks off his stick. That might have fooled Anderson, but I don't think Anderson ever touched it because of the perfect positioning of Chris Kreider. Look how Kreider gets directly in front of Anderson. When you see the goaltender not move his head, that means he's hoping that the puck hits him. And the good screen leads to the goal by McDonough.
First goal in the last 10 games for Ryan McDonough. First goal by a Rangers defenseman in the last 10 games.
Chris Kreider's off to a good start.
Yes.
Taking the puck and just skating. And we talked about this the other night. You know, sometimes just go play. Forget about everything else and just skate. Go hard to the net. Shoot when you can. And he's had a nice start here in the first 10 minutes and 10 seconds.
He's had good history against Ottawa.
Yes, he has.
The first NHL game he ever played was in the playoffs against Ottawa.
And some of the Ottawa people were remarking he is an Ottawa killer, they said. Every time he plays against us, doesn't seem like he's in any kind of slump.
Zibanejad is slowed down by Nash, gets it to Mark Stone. Zibanejad in deep, works it around, it's centered, and Lundqvist able to steer it away. Shot by Carlson, fought off by Lundqvist. Todd moves it to Zach Smith, now to Mika Zibanejad.
Zibanejad did a nice job on the screen, and Lundqvist fought that off, was able to look around him and make the save.
Rangers able to take it away. Nash carries in deep. Joined by Kreider. Kreider stopped by Mathot. Nash's pass comes out to Girardi for a shot. Deflected just wide. Good deflection in the circle by Derek Brassard. Kreider leaves it in the corner for Brassard. Brassard comes out with a shot that was steered away by Anderson. Puck out of the zone, recovered by Ryan McDonough. McDonough's fourth goal of the season from Yandel and Kreider at 8:40, a power play goal. Rangers have had power play goals in 6 of their last 9 games. 7 power play goals over that span. Curtis Lazar for Ottawa. 8:25 to go in the first. Rangers with a 1-0 lead. McDonough pressed there by Pajot. Stepping up was Borowiecki. Pajot, number 44, with McDonough on him. Rangers moving across, and Zuccarello gets to it. Up ahead, tries to lead Kevin Hayes, and it goes all the way down for an icing with 8:02 to go here in the first period. Wednesday night on MSG Plus, the Rangers begin the first of a 3-game Western Canadian road trip in Vancouver. Live coverage begins at 9:30 with Visa Rangers Game Night with Bill Pito. Rangers and Canucks Wednesday night on MSG Plus. Hope you'll join us. That will be game number 999 in the NHL coaching career of Alain Vigneault.
Boy, oh boy. That's a lot of games, isn't it? That is a heck of a career.
He has done well. And the Ottawa people were reminding him, of course, that he started as an NHL assistant coach in Ottawa with an expansion team.
Right.
And then he asked him, what did you learn? He said, don't take a job with an expansion team.
Yeah, Rick Bowness was the head coach, and then later on he hired Rick Bowness as one of his assistants in Vancouver.
And he credits Rick with helping him so much in his coaching career. And they worked so very well together in those years in Vancouver. Stahl off the boards to JT Miller. Got a pass intercepted by Jared Cowan. Sent back in by Kyle Turris. Ryan's centering feed goes all the way through and out of the zone. 7:20 to go in the first, and Ottawa's been held to only 2 shots on goal. Good job by the Rangers overall. Team defense has been solid. Turris sends it in. Now Jared Stoll. Bump off the puck by Tanner Glass.
Now here goes Neal after Tanner Glass. Mathot stayed on the ice and then got up. I didn't think it was that hard of a hit initially. More like a push. thought they were shaken up momentarily.
Offside whistled on the play. Tanner Bassett challenged by Carlson here. That's something you don't see.
Yeah, Carlson gave him the hook on the arm as he was past him. So Mathot, there you see number 3 was called as started. Mathot, as you see him talking to the officials, thinking that there should have been a penalty called. I didn't think it was much of anything. Carlson better be careful. And a little push from behind, I think, and he went into the boards a little awkwardly. Here it is again, and that's it. You know what? It's one of those borderline. It's a borderline play. You see, it was a push more than anything, and so he held up on the hit. And this is not what Carlson wants to do. He's not the guy that that you want. You don't want to drop your gloves, and I'm sure he knows not to drop the gloves.
And I guess Dave Cameron upset that there was no call on the play. He's gotten a penalty. John Gino, what'd you hear down there?
Yeah, guys, Dave Cameron would not stop arguing about it, and the referee just basically said, put your guys on the ice or you're going to get a penalty, and he continued to protest, and that's exactly what happened. He got a 2-minute unsportsmanlike penalty. So as the two teams separated, of course, Neil and Glass continued their discussion, and the Rangers go to the power play.
Dave Cameron was yelling at Brad Meyer. A quick whistle, stop play. The puck popped loose as Anderson made that save. Rangers' second power play. This power play brought to you by Volkswagen.
Well, the Rangers win the face-off here. Dave Cameron's still upset with the non-call and then the call that went against his team. And it was one of those plays. It's a borderline dangerous play, but you could see Tanner Glass held up instead of using his body to make the hit. It was more of a push. But if you're off balance in any way, you can go down awkwardly.
Pass across Zuccarello with a long shot. Went wide. Boyle was looking for deflection in front. Zuccarello, Nash, Brassard, McDonough, and Boyle. And Boyle is set up in front. Pass back to Rick Nash. Now to McDonough.
Boyle and Anderson were giving each other the stick.
And a deflection by Dan Boyle. It's a power play goal. And the Rangers take a 2-0 lead.
Well, Dan Boyle, since Derek Stepan is out of the lineup, the right-handed shot, we've seen Boyle often go low. And so he's in front of the net. There he is. He stays there. The puck movement again, and McDonough, he just looks up and says, I'm going to throw it there. That looked like it went off the stick of Stone on the way to the net. So Boyle is there. You can see the goaltender Anderson has to look around him, and it looked like he got a piece of it, didn't it?
I thought so.
Yeah. Because it seemed to change direction right in front of him.
Brassard came across. A lot going on. Let's say this. Right now, the Rangers' power play very effective. Oh, shot by McElrath on goal. Anderson made the save. The puck popped in the air, and he gloved it. And after the whistle, something going on involving Dominic Moore. And the Ottawa Senators, J.T. Miller there as well. Rangers have a 2-0 lead on 2 power play goals.
Well, Derek Brassard is getting credit for the power play goal to make it 2-0 Rangers. And the Rangers with real good possession front. Here's Boyle. Watch him and Anderson, the goaltender. A little contact, and then Anderson says, oh, get away from me. Jabs him with the stick. Play goes on. Boyle says, that's not enough to get me away from the front of the net, as he stays there, and then there's the shot. Oh, you know what? Brassard knocked it down. So looked like it hit the stick of Stone, and then Brassard gets it the second time. And so Anderson, the first one he was screened, this one's deflected. And the Rangers with the lead.
Good job of net presence by the Rangers.
Oh, yeah. Well, both these power play goals. Kreider the first time, this time Boyle.
Yep. Brassard gets the goal, his 8th from McDonough and Nash at 13:47. So Ryan McDonough with a goal and an assist. Chiasson with a shot saved by Lundqvist. Had a little bit of trouble with that. He hasn't had very much work thus far in the game. In comes McElrath, and that looked like a pass.
It was.
Across the goal mouth. Back the other way, 3-on-2 Ottawa. The trailer and the pass from Carlson was behind the back to Lazar. Ryder gets it out of the zone. Rangers with a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, McElrath tried to do the right thing. It's a good place for him just to take the shot on net. Because as he just found out, you miss it with a hard pass and it goes out the other way. You're a defenseman. You're caught deep in the offensive zone.
Yo, I'm seeing a lot of positive things from Dylan McElrath.
Yeah.
Really like the way
I agree.
he's playing.
Sam, I agree with you. I had a chance. I talked to him yesterday a little bit and asked him about his game and what he thought. And he said that, you know, he said, I continue to remind myself that I got to keep making the good first pass coming out of the zone. But he said the one thing I want to do, he says, I want to get more involved in the offense. Get in the offensive zone and make things happen. He joined the rush there. Nice job reading it, getting involved. And again, if he had to do it over, I think he would have taken that shot. But his thought process was fine.
Got a hard shot, too, when he does take.
Oh, he does.
Tourison against Jarrett Stoll. Cowan moves it to Cody Ceci. Played there by Bobby Ryan to Hoffman. Back pass to Cowan. Bounced over the stick of Ryan. Turris in the corner, checked by Stoll. And the puck taken away by McDonough with Mike Hoffman on him.
And Sam, this is not a safe lead against this Ottawa team. Their coaches told us they are outscoring their mistakes. So they've been really on an offensive tear here in the last 10-11 games.
That's what they did last night, coming from behind late. But here the Rangers off to a good start, making the Senators pay. They took a penalty in the offensive zone, and then the bench took the penalty when the head coach was upset. Giveaway to Hayes. He's in deep. Goes around the net. Trying to bank it in front. That goes into the crease. Still loose. Brassard couldn't put it in. And it's finally covered by Craig Anderson in the crease.
Did Brassard put it off the post? Boy, a giveaway by Cowan, who had a lot of time to make a play. Remember, we talked about the coaches saying we've been giving the puck away in a lot of places. This is a bad giveaway when Cowan had time, and the Rangers nearly turned it into a goal. And this was just Anderson scrambling around and chances. Boy, oh boy, I think the Rangers were trying to call for maybe thinking one of their players put the... There's the shot by Brassard. Not sure if it just hit Anderson or if it got I thought it got the post as well. But this was the patience by Hayes. And then he gets it in front. Now Anderson's scrambling to try and get back in.
Rangers did everything but put the puck in the net. Here's Carlson moving in. Checked by Stahl. Got the shot off. It was stopped with a stick by Lundqvist. 3:45 to go. First period. Rangers with a 2-0 lead. Girardi clears it out. Mark Methot sends it back to Mark Stone. Stone checked by Stahl. Good job by Mark Stahl. Here's Girardi. And now Kevin Hayes with Zach Smith on the forecheck. And the turnover to Stone. Back pass to Carlson. Nice play by Zuccarello. The Rangers break out 3-on-2. Hayes. Dominic Moore. Good save by Anderson. Moore trying to surprise Anderson. He's not normally the shooter. He had Zuccarello with him. Decided to take the shot, and Anderson with a good save. Download MSG Go, the only app that lets you watch MSG Network's live coverage of Knicks games anywhere. Download now at the App Store or Google Play. MSG Go is currently available to MSG Network subscribers of participating television providers. Good start to this game for the Rangers. They've been skating well. On 2 for 2 on the power play. Face-off win by Moore, but it's out of the zone. Yandel and Boyle paired here on defense.
Well, it's been a good period by the Rangers. Skating, some excellent scoring chances, the lead on their power play. They just look like they got more than they had that last game. They looked sapped, didn't they, Sam? 6 games in 9 days.
I think that's the key. That was a lot of hockey for the Rangers.
You know, you don't like to use excuses, but they looked like they were out of energy. They had the day off on Friday, practiced yesterday, and off to a good start in this one.
Rick Nash with assists in consecutive games now. Allen with the pass out that's intercepted by Mark Stahl. Ball up ahead for Lindbergh. The tough pass. Kreider winds it in. Cowan. Neal tried to clear it. It was kept in by Mark Stahl. Victor Stallberg trying to keep the play alive in the offensive zone. Does. And Lindbergh has it in deep. Lindbergh takes a hit. And the Ottawa Senators is able to get out with it.
Boy, he ends up with the puck a lot, doesn't he, Lindbergh? Just when you think the puck's going to go out of the zone, you know, he stays back and, you know, the puck ends up on his stick. Smart player.
Carlson pressured by Jared Stoll. Bobby Ryan. And now Mafat. Hoffman missed it. And it's an icing on Ottawa with 1:26 to go in this first period. Bring the whole family and get this close with the Westchester Knicks. Great seats still available. Tickets starting at $10 are on sale now. Visit westchesterknicks.com. Rangers 10 shots, Ottawa 5. Rangers 2 power play chances, 2 for 2. Max Zuccarello lined up. Zuccarello only 1 point in his last 7 games. It's a goal. That too part of the tweaking of the lines by Coach Alain Vigneault, looking to get several players going. Bobby Ryan trying to one-handed in front. Good job by Girardi staying with him all the way. Ryan finds Carlson, and a check by Zuccarello deflected that shot out of play.
Well, boys, when he doesn't have the puck, when you have to come back and play defense, Matt Zuccarello does it on all ends of the ice. This is just a marvelous play. Just reading, and that's Carlson again. His ability to sneak in there, and he looks around. Oh, better get over there, and has his stick. That's a good scoring chance for Erik Karlsson, and Zuccarello thwarted that one.
1:12 to go in the first period. Moore and Zibanejad for the face-off, won by Moore. Boyle's pass up the middle. Jared Stoll dumps it in. Karlsson with a quick pass, knocked away by Moore.
Last minute of play in the period.
Under a minute to go in the first. Stoll back towards Zibanejad on him. Mark Stoll with the pass. Stopped by Karlsson. Moore had it knocked away. Boyle's pass deflected, and Dominic Moore takes over. All the way around for Oscar Lindbergh, who's just on. Senators take it back. Karlsson in deep. Fires across. Saved by Lundqvist. Rebound, another save by Lundqvist. Great chances for Ottawa. Look like Smith and Zibanejad.
Exactly. Zibanejad had the first one. Smith had the second. All set up by, again, Erik Karlsson moving into the offensive zone and getting the puck in front.
Chance go up for Henrik. As the period comes to an end, Lundqvist comes up big to keep Ottawa off the board. Senators starting to get their skating legs going a little bit as they were coming on the last minute or so.
Yeah, Sam, that's why I mentioned a 2-0 lead is not safe because of this. Here's Karlsson, throws it in front, 1 save. Smith, who has 6 goals on the season. And here's another look. This from our Coke Zero super slow-mo. Here's the first save. Zibanejad strong on his stick. What a save by Lundqvist. And Zach Smith, the 4th liner with 6 goals on the season, has a chance for his 7th. And Lundqvist stops that.
So the Senators are kept off the board. The Rangers head off the ice with a 2-0 lead thanks to 2 power play goals. We head to the Visa Gameside Studio to Al Trop. You come to Madison Square Garden, you enter through the Chase Freedom entrance. And what a beautiful sight as you walk in to Madison Square Garden. And the great sights and sounds. We're set for the second period here at Madison Square Garden. Rangers and Ottawa Senators. New York Rangers hockey on MSG is presented by Chase. Let's check out our Cadillac trivia question of the night. Oscar Lindberg is tied for second in rookie goal scoring with 10. Who was the last Ranger to finish an NHL season leading the league in rookie goal scoring? All right, good question. Oscar Lindberg getting a lot of attention. Dave Cameron looks like he may have calmed down a little bit, but he was hot when there was no call against Tanner Glass for that shove on Mark Mathot. Mathot went down, went into the boards, and Senators were upset. The head coach got a penalty.
Yeah.
The Rangers scored.
You know, Sam, most of the time, the referees in this league will give you some leeway. They'll let you, go on a little bit, especially when you're upset. But then, they'll warn you. And obviously, he went a little bit further than they wanted to. If they wanted him to, let's put it that way, and he takes a penalty that leads to the Rangers' second goal.
Second time in the last 4 games, and the second time this season the Rangers have had 2 power play goals in a game. Lindberg, Nash, and Kreider, Boyle, and Stahl, the Rangers 5 on the ice. Solid first period. Ottawa started to put some pressure on late in the first period. Carlson.
He was pretty good too, wasn't he?
Yes,
he played .925.
Here's Zibanejad. Drops it off for Smith. His pass was tipped. Gets through to Mathot. That's blocked by Rick Nash. Stahl tied up along the boards. Able to move the puck. Kreider goes back for it. Carlson has been tied for the league lead in assist by Patrick Kane of the Chicago Blackhawks, who had an assist tonight and has stretched his point scoring streak to a franchise record 22 games.
He just moved ahead of the Golden Jet. He had 21 straight.
Kane is having a fantastic year. Here's Brassard on the takeaway. 2-on-1 develops. He shoots, save Anderson. He had Hayes coming down the left side, went for the shot, and Anderson with a good save.
Sam, we've talked about, the Rangers needing to score a little bit more, but, the thing about Rick Nash is that even when he's not scoring, he'll make plays defensively. He'll get involved in the offense. Here he comes all the way back and then puts himself in a position and makes a good block of a shot there by Mark Mathot. Real heads-up play by Rick Nash. He doesn't forget about the other things he's supposed to do when he's on the ice.
Had a good chance to watch him these years that since coming over from Columbus, Joe, and he is a complete player. That's the one thing you can say about him. He is a complete player.
Sure, and he would like to score more playoff goals like everybody else would like him to score more.
McDonough and Girardi. Zuccarello tips it into the Ottawa zone. Ceci will move it to Jared Cowan. Out comes Mike Hoffman. Hooked that by Dominic Moore, dropped it back, and it's taken away by J.T. Miller, then blocked by Ryan. The setup across, the shot by Weidman, almost batted in by Bobby Ryan. Ryan hits the side of the net, gets hauled down by J.T. Miller, and a penalty on Miller. First time in the last 2 games the Rangers have been shorthanded. They were not shorthanded against Colorado and did not take a minor in the first period.
Bobby Ryan having a few words with Henrik Lundqvist. I think Bobby Ryan had a couple of chances at that puck as it was up in the air. Bobby Ryan has great hand-eye coordination. There's once, he misses, gets another chance. Lundqvist comes over and stops that, and then Ryan one more time off the side of the net. And then was taken down by J.T. Miller. That leads to this Ottawa power play, which has really been dangerous.
Ottawa Senators 2 for 9 over the last 3 games. That goes right through the crease and is steered away by Lundqvist. Rangers penalty killing is 7th in the NHL.
4 forwards, 1 defenseman. That's Carlson, the defenseman for Ottawa, and Hoffman, who is really hot. He plays the left point. He has the puck now.
Ottawa's 7th in the power play in the league. Rangers 7th on the penalty kill in the league. Stone. Hoffman. Hoffman holding. His pass tipped by Jesper Fast. Fast and Moore with McDonough and Girardi, the Rangers penalty killers. Carlson across to Hoffman. Back to Carlson. Winds up. The feed to Ryan. Now to Turris. Save. The rebound. Hoffman couldn't get a shot off. Lundqvist lost his stick. It's off to the side of the net. Here's Hoffman. Pass across. Saved by Lundqvist. No rebound.
Well, what a save.
Stop Bobby Ryan.
Beautiful puck movement by Ottawa. And Lundqvist without a stick. Girardi thought about going to get his stick. Also thought about giving him a stick. And this is just the puck movement. Bobby Ryan with that setup. Girardi does a real nice job on Hoffman, the side of the net. And then Ottawa just keeps it going. So now here's Lundqvist without a stick. That hard push with his right leg. He comes right over and takes everything away on the Ryan chance.
Stoll and Stallberg on with McElrath and Stahl. And Dylan McElrath wins the battle along the boards and clears. Ottawa's had power play goals in 12 power play goals over the last 13 games. And 3 times in those 13 they've scored 2 power play goals in a game. Carlson took it deep. Rangers take it back. Stoll leads Stallberg. Stallberg moves in on the forward. Hoffman goes around him and shot it wide as Hoffman stayed with him.
Yeah, with Carlson getting caught, there were 2 forwards back on defense for Ottawa.
Kyle Turris blocked by Oscar Lindberg. Lindberg and Nash on. Nash fired it out. It hit the linesman, who tried to get out of the way as he jumped on the ledge in front of the Ottawa bench. Stone had trouble with the puck. Final seconds of the Ottawa power play. Good job on the penalty kill thus far by the Rangers, including Henrik Lundqvist. Power play is over. Brassard sends Miller out of the zone. Miller moves in on Cody Ceci. Save. Anderson. Rebound block. Hoffman blocked the chance by Brassard.
Hoffman's been out there for over 2 minutes.
Here's Brassard behind the net. Brassard fires off the side of the net. JT Miller's stick was broken. Brassard centers. Anderson got a stick on it. Out comes Pajot. Brassard was stopped by Zuccarello. The Senators recover. 4:40 gone by in the second period. Rangers a 2-0 lead. Cody Ceci forced back on the forecheck by Kevin Hayes. Jason playing it ahead for Pajot. He was stopped by Girardi. Rangers doing a good job at the line. That's fired in, intercepted by Yandel. And cleared out. Zach Smith ahead for Chiasson. Alex Chiasson trying to play it. Yandel takes over. Fires up the middle, but missed Oscar Lindberg, and it's an icing on the Rangers. 5:15 gone by in the second period. Tomorrow night on MSG, the Knicks battle the Mavericks. Live coverage begins at 7 with Visa Knicks game night. Then it's the Knicks and the Mavs tomorrow night on MSG Network. Also available on MSG Go. Knicks had a tough loss in Milwaukee last night after their win over the Nets on Friday night. Oscar Lindberg and Zach Smith for the face-off. Rangers with a game in Vancouver Wednesday night, in Edmonton Friday night, and Calgary Saturday night. Zach Smith was checked along the boards, lines it deep for Mark Stone. Stone tried to get away from Yandel. Yandel got help from Kevin Hayes. Nice play by Hayes. Borowiecki's got it. Now Cowan into Stone, who shoots. And it might have gone off Lindberg. If not, it went off of Lundqvist. Here's Stone. Waits, shoots, and it's deflected out of play up into the netting.
Yeah, Stone's a very dangerous player as well. That first shot he took him. I don't think Lundqvist saw it. It did hit him because of the people in front of him. And then Stone has one more chance. Stone leads the league in takeaways. He is a crafty, crafty player. Another one of those players had an outstanding rookie season last year. Just continues to get better.
They have come up, I mean, they've got a good set of forwards, this Ottawa team.
How about Hoffman, Sam? Last year they put him on waivers at the start of the season. He went through the NHL. All 29 other teams passed on him.
Long shot deflected in. Chris Neil in front with a deflection. And Ottawa scores to make it 2-1. They win the face-off and get the deflection in front.
Yeah, right off the face-off. Pajot. Pardon me, there's the shot by Mathot with Neil going to the front. Oh, you know what? It actually hit Mark Stahl. So Neil didn't touch it. I think Mathot's going to get credit.
Oh, okay.
They were next to each other, but it looked like it hit the stick of Mark Stahl, and then went in.
Our first replay was from the RoboCam replay by the new Buick. Buick, your kind of luxury. The puck deflected in by Henrik Lundqvist with Neil and Stahl in front. The Senators are on the board. It's a 2-1 game.
Jasinski wins the faceoff.
Here's a chance by Shane Prince and a save by Lundqvist. Ottawa coming on. It started late in the first period, and it's continued here in the second. Carlson with a knockdown in center. Neil sends it back in. Played by Dan Boyle. Sends out Jesper Fast. Pass was blocked by Hoffman. Miller hit by Cowan, and Hoffman has the puck for Ottawa. Senators now out shooting the Rangers 14-12 for the game. At one point, the shots were 9-4 in favor of the Rangers. Cowan's pass. Churras had trouble with it. Zuccarello takes it back. And the pass intended for Girardi all the way back into the Rangers zone. The Rangers play a little bit ragged here. McDonough carrying, pulls up. Zuccarello's shoot-in hit Brassard. Zuccarello has it again against Pajot, who took him down with a stick check. Lazar stopped by Hayes. Now Cody Ceci brings it across. Puts it in the corner, gets to it. Pass blocked in front. Good block by McElrath. Back the other way, 3-on-2 Rangers. Zuccarello tried to slide it through for Brassard. Pajot broke it up. The other way, Yandel against Lazar. Chipped out by Zuccarello. And Pajot played it back into his own zone. Weidman there. Swings it around for Zibanejad. Good job by Yandel. Pajot with a hit on Kreider. Off the glass, and out the zone he goes.
Number 59, Dave Jasinski. Time of the goal.
8:20 gone by here in the second. Nash straight down the middle to the net, and he shot it high. Lazar falls down. Rangers take it back. Nash drops it off. Lindbergh shoots. Glove save made by Anderson. Weidman had it taken away. Nash with a puck. Fires across. It was tipped away from a cutting Oscar Lindbergh. And the puck cleared out. The Rangers answer back with a couple of good chances.
Borowiecki still on the ice, 74, and why he's been out there a long time. Now the whistle, and they'll be able to make a change.
Greg Anderson stops play. 8:53 gone by in the second.
And look at our bubble telestrator. Here's the goal by Ottawa. That's Chris Neil in the white. And you'll see Stahlberg trying to get out on the faceoff. And watch what Chris Neil does. Slows him down. Stahlberg can't get out. That means Mathot's wide open. Chris Neil goes back to the front, but it hits the stick of Stahl on the way in, deflects in, and that gives the Ottawa Senators their first goal.
Mathot with his second of the season. Shane Prince and David Jasinski get the assist for Jasinski. It was his first NHL assist. He played 12 games a couple of years back. Has had problems with head injuries.
It's almost 3 years. Almost 3 years since his recall the other day.
Yeah. He scored 2 goals, never had an assist. As recall, he played the game last night and picks up an assist in the game here tonight. There he is. David Brzezinski. Yandel, long shot gets through. Anderson picked it up a little late, but made the save. He was in good position. 11 minutes to go here in the second period. Join the Rangers' 22nd annual Toys for Tots Toy Drive, presented in part by Lexus. Now through December 20th, bring an unwrapped toy to a tri-state area Lexus dealership and help brighten a child's holiday season. For more information, visit NewYorkRangers.com. Dumped in by Zach Smith. Around the boards for Zibanejad. Smith was tied up. Dan will try to play it. And Nash with a good pass to Kreider. Kreider races it on Carlson. The shot deflected by Carlson. Nash back to Kreider. Comes off the boards and shoots. Save made by Anderson, with Lindbergh cutting in front. Kreider just seems more involved early in this game. Shot by Yandel just wide. Stone's got it. For Zach Smith. Cameron Glass able to get it back to Ryan McDonough.
I think Kreider's just trying to take some of the hesitation out of his game. He's getting the puck, he's skating with it, he's trying to get to the scoring areas, and when the shot is there, he's taking it.
Chris Neal for Ottawa. Rangers with a 2-1 lead. Rangers 2 power play goals in the first period. Ottawa with a goal here in the second. Mark Stahl, the chain prints on him. Off the boards and out of the zone. Ceci back for it. Derek Stoll chases him. Now Cowan. A hit on Stolberg. A turnover to Hayes. Here's Stahl. Gets it back. His shot blocked. Broussard gave it right back to him. Around the boards to Broussard behind the goal. Cody Ceci takes it away. 9:20 to go in the second period. Shane Prince moves in, and his shot deflected away by Girardi. Zuccarello got taken down and reacted. That fired right through the crease and tipped out of the zone by Kevin Hayes. Weidman has it back. And now Cowan. 9 minutes to go here in the second. Gunna has it back. JT Miller moves in. Gunna and Broussard, the Rangers goal scorers. Miller with a pass attempt that was blocked. Bobby Ryan spins around Dan Boyle. Moves in with a shot. Save. Lundqvist didn't know where it went. It popped straight up in the air. Bobby Ryan, what a move he made on Dan Boyle.
He's got high-end skill, that's for sure.
Number 2 pick overall.
You know, Sam, he finally had a summer where he could work out. First one in 4 summers.
Dominic Moore hustles to the puck. Anderson makes the save. Jesper Fast taken away by Ryan. Back to Fast. And he almost got a chance, but Anderson, active with a stick, stopped him. The other way, Pajot dumps it in. Pajot against Yandel. Pajot stays with it. Yandel on him all the way. Miller is there. Yandel able to take it away. But here's Carlson and his drive hit Dan Boyle. Oh, Boyle still feeling the effects of that shot. In deep, Jason. Jason against Boyle. Boyle trying to skate after feeling the effects of that hard shot by Erik Karlsson. The puck cleared out, going all the way down. It's an icing on the Rangers. 7:29 to go in the second.
Yeah, Bobby Ryan, as I mentioned, finally he had a good summer of working out. He came back in real good condition and feeling good. How about this move here on Boyle? Backwards, turns the other way, and then has a hard wrist shot. Lundqvist gets a piece of it, didn't know where it was. There it is again. Boy, oh boy, that takes talent. That's why you're the number 2 overall pick.
Really playing very, very well right about now. On a great stretch.
Point per game for Bobby Ryan.
He's got a 6-game point scoring, 4-game point scoring streak. Points in 13 out of 14. 17 points in the 14 games. That shot by Rick Nash deflected out of play. 7:18 to go. Second period. Rangers leading 2-1. Kings brings us our DraftKings spotlight. The spotlight on Matt Zuccarello, who's had a good career numbers against the Ottawa Senators. 5 goals, 3 assists in 8 games. And he leads the Rangers with 11 goals, 22 points this season. Play daily fantasy hockey on DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of the New York Rangers. Zuccarello on with Brassard and Hayes, Yandel and Girardi.
Now we've seen Carlson be active. The Rangers have done a good job against Hoffman in this game. Hoffman had 7 shots on goal last night. Hasn't had anything yet.
Zach Smith off the boards, trying to lead Zibanejad. And Yandel able to clear it out. Mathot. And Carlson. Zibanejad fires in off the stick of Lundqvist. Back toward Yandel.
Girardi and Yandel on the ice together.
There's Mathot stepping into a shot wide. And that's cleared out. Back forward is Stone. Mathot. Rangers 17 shots, Senators 15. Rangers 2 for 2 on the power play. Ottawa 0 for 1. Zuccarello getting it to Hayes. Hayes pulls up against Borowiecki. Around to Zuccarello. Now Brassard out to McElrath. Here's Mark Stahl with a wrister. A save by Anderson. Brassard was cutting in front trying to get there.
I thought he got a piece of it.
Back to McElrath. And across to Mark Stahl. Stahl fires for Zuccarello. That was a pass. Looking for a deflection in front. Stahl with a couple of good plays. Ryder went down. And Carlson's got the puck for Ottawa. Stahl back forward.
I'm sorry, yeah, McElrath and Stahl now partners also, so that's part of the change, which puts Boyle and McDonough together.
Well, Samuelson will do a lot of rotating during the course of the game, depending on who's going and who's had more ice time.
Well, clearly Ottawa has found their game.
Curtis Lazar's shot was blocked. Good job by Boyle. A whistle.
Interference against the Rangers.
Interference call. Dominic, let's see. Penalty call. Rangers will be shorthanded.
How we spot shadow Chris Kreider because he's the Ranger that ends up in the penalty box. He comes back, and there you see the interference just at the blue line, and so Kreider goes off, and Ottawa back on the power play.
Second power play for the Ottawa Senators, 0 for 1. And here, the key spot in the momentum of this game. Rangers with the lead in the first period. Ottawa cutting into it here in the second. Chance to tie here with a power play opportunity. Kyle Turris getting set against Dominic Moore. Hoffman to Carlson. Carlson leads the league with 11 power play assists. Feed to Bobby Ryan. Back to Carlson for the shot. Saved by Lundqvist. Hoffman played it ahead of his block. The clearing attempt hit Dominic Moore. Girardi fired it out and it hit Moore in the back. This time a pass from Girardi to Moore, and Moore able to clear all the way down.
Really a good strong play by Girardi in the corner. Mark Stone went down, was slow to get up, but he stays on the ice.
Lead to Ryan. Stahl is on with McElrath. Stoll and Stallberg. Ryan. Carlson. Hoffman. Back to Erik Karlsson. Now Bobby Ryan with a shot. That was deflected by Mark Stahl. Along the boards, Hoffman. 1 minute to go on the power play. Ryan moves down. Karlsson to Hoffman. Hoffman forced back by Jarrett Stoll. Hoffman again. Side of the net. Pass through. Intended for Ryan, but out of the zone. Mark Stone made that pass. Missed connection. 4 minutes to go in the second. Rangers leading 2-1. 30 seconds to go in the Ottawa power play. After the puck, Fast and Chiasson. Fast moves it. Play back to Carlson. He's been on for the full power play. Behind the back feed, that shot high by Carlson. The rebound played by Kyle Turris to Hoffman. Hoffman winds up. The drive blocked. Good play by Jesper Fast. It's out of play. Up into the netting. 8 seconds to go in the Ottawa power play. Experience the lounges at Madison Square Garden, a spectacular group and hospitality space on the bridge level. For more information, call 212-465-6080 or visit NewYorkRangers.com. Great place to watch the game.
Or the Rangers have done a good job on Hoffman. There's Hoffman. This time he elects to shoot, and Fast, a good job blocking it.
Face-off won by Curtis Lazar. Weidman to Zibanejad, who's down with the puck. Backhands it toward the net. Saved by Lundqvist. Out of the box, Kreider. And the lead pass off the boards. Kreider gets to it. Shoots wide. Kept in by Dan Boyle. To Kreider. To Stahl. And Lindbergh with a shot saved by Anderson. He's got the puck. Oh, Kreider. He comes flying out of the penalty box. Gets another big chance, but missed the net.
Yeah, coming out of the box, he had plenty of speed, and the pass just goes behind him. It allows him to skate right in, and boy, just lets it go quickly, but misses the net.
Rangers penalty killing here at the Garden has been sensational. They've killed off 18 of the last 19 opponent power plays here at the Garden. Cody Ceci trying to move the puck. Zach Smith, the dump in was deflected by Boyle. Lindbergh plays it out of the zone. Under 3 minutes to go, second period. Rangers with a 2-1 lead. That's tipped into the Rangers zone. Chipped out by Kreider down the ice. It's going to be an icing on the Rangers. 2:38 to go in the second period. Cold hard facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And these are goals per 60 minutes played. Mike Hoffman of Ottawa with the best percentage. Jamie Benn of Dallas next. And number 4, Oscar Lindbergh. Very impressive numbers.
Top line goes on the ice for Ottawa after the Ranger icing, and this group for the Rangers been on the ice for a long time. Nash now makes a change.
Kreider got it out of the zone. And the giveaway, the puck picked up by Kreider. Moves in. Hoffman is there. Kreider takes it deep. The pass out in front. Kyle Turris intercepts. Around the board. Stopped by McElrath. Now Brassard. Through to Mark Stahl. For Zuccarello. Out to McElrath for a drive. Oh, again, that shot is, he has got some shot. He just missed. Just missed the net.
Not afraid to shoot it, is he?
No.
That's a good sign for a young player that's, again, he needs to get a few more of those on net.
Yes.
But he has a lot of velocity. Boy, he can really fire it.
He's a big man.
You see a little frustration on his face there because, as he was saying yesterday, he said, I need to get a little bit more involved in the offense. It's coming along. They're trying to get him to play just inside the dots. Don't be too overly aggressive looking for a big hit. Wait for that to come to you as opposed to you looking for it.
Face-off win by the Senators. Borowiecki across to Weidman toward the net. Saved by Lundqvist through the screen. Wow. Lundqvist just blocked it with his upper body. Zach Smith back in, shoots wide. Zibanejad with a quick shot that goes wide. Borowiecki keeps it deep.
Zach Smith promoted from the 4th line last night to the 2nd line tonight. And Prince goes down to the 4th.
Here's Stone, gets some room, saved by Lundqvist. Good chances here by Ottawa. Mark Stone again around to Zibanejad. Try to spin in front. The 2 Rangers converged on him. That shot got through, a save by Lundqvist. Stone, that's blocked. On the ice is McElrath. Didn't want to move. That shot, a glove save by Lundqvist as he robbed Jarzynski. Oh!
Boy, Lundqvist, not just that save, Sam, but these last couple of minutes, Lundqvist has had to make a lot of big saves. All kinds of pressure by Ottawa. Just moving the puck around, getting it to the front of the net. Stop that one. Stone tries. This one gets blocked on the play. And then Jarzynski just steps in. You'll see Jarzynski just come in, find the loose puck as Zuccarello was knocked down from behind. And Lundqvist with a beautiful glove save.
Under a minute to go in the second period. Again, Ottawa applying big-time pressure. But the Rangers lead to 2-1 with a goal here in the second. They've had some good chances. Lundqvist has had a big second period. Through, Girardi lifts it out of the zone. Methot there to play it. Hoffman pass ahead for Ryan, leaves it for Turris. Kyle Turris pass back to Carlson. Stanley took it out of the zone. 20 seconds to go in the second period. Methot ahead for Bobby Ryan. It's broken up. Turned the other way by Rick Nash. Nash against Methot. Pulls up. Went off the skate of Methot. Stone to Zibanejad. And that's it for the second period. Ottawa Senators get the only goal of the second period. And they put some pressure on. Lundqvist with some spectacular saves. Rangers lead 2-1.
Well, more of the play in the second period was in the Rangers zone than we saw in that first period. The Senators came on towards the end of that first period, but you could tell in this one they get the only goal this period, but they were on their toes and they were causing the Rangers problem, and they were much quicker on the Rangers defense in the second period.
Rangers 2 goals in the first, Ottawa 1 in the second. That's where we stand. We are back at Madison Square Garden, where you'll find the Chase locker room. We're getting set for the third period. Rangers and Senators. New York Rangers hockey on MSG is presented by Chase. We invite you to come by the locker room area. Check out the locker room. Check out the skates, the uniforms, the helmets, and maybe open the locker and find something good in there. All right. Looks like a prize for an unsuspecting fan. Upcoming schedule brought to you by Lexus, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Rangers. Rangers in Vancouver Wednesday night on MSG Plus, 10 p.m. start. Now, Friday night, Rangers are in Edmonton. That game is 9:30 p.m. on MSG. However, that is the night that Glenn Sather will be honored in Edmonton for his great achievements and his contributions to hockey in Edmonton. The Glenn Sather ceremony at 8 p.m., pregame at 9 p.m., and the game at 9:30. Now, before the third period, John Giannone has the coach's info for us. John.
Yes, Sam, I talked to assistant coach Joel Samuelson. He said at 2-0, he noticed their guys got the leeway, their skill players, especially Erik Karlsson, to get more involved in the play, and maybe that's why Ottawa was able to come at the Rangers with more offense, he said. But still, in the second period alone, we had 4 or 5 great chances. We just didn't convert any of them. If we put one in there against a tired team, maybe that would have done it for the game. He said in the third, they're going to open it up, so we have to be wary. We always want to get some looks, but we don't want to press too much. He said, watch for what we do along the boards. We're going to be careful and crisp with the puck in our own zone, but look for a breakout play. Little chips along the boards against pinching defense can create 2-on-1s. I asked him about Dylan McElrath and his increased ice time. He said he's still learning this game on this night, but it's important for us to get him the amount of ice time where he can feel comfortable, and we see him doing that, guys.
Thanks, John. I'm telling you, John gets the best stuff from Ulf Samuelsson. It is great information.
Now,
thank you, John.
These coaches are so good with John. And
Kreider's down in front of the Rangers bench. Now he's staying on the ice.
And then that one hit Stan Boyle, and it looked like it caught him in the face. Rangers with 2 players hurt within a span of about 10 seconds.
Both players staying on the ice. Meanwhile, Ottawa moving the puck in the offensive zone. Mark Stahl is there. Stahl and Boyle, Lindbergh, Kreider, and Nash for the period. And there goes Kreider. And lost control. Never gained control of the puck. Ryder looking for it. It's worked up the board. Zuccarello just on. Works it deep to Broussard. Broussard out in front, and it went by Zuccarello. Turris and Zuccarello in the corner. Carlson's pass is tipped and taken over by Mark Stone. Stone dumps it in. Lundqvist reaches out to stop it. Plays it away from Kyle Turris. And spinning off the boards was Hoffman. Moving in, Cody Ceci. Here's a chance it's blocked as Turris trying to get a shot off. The scramble continues, and out where the puck comes Dan Girardi to clear it down the ice out of trouble. He'll take the icing. That's okay.
I'll tell you what, Lundqvist makes a save here as well with all those bodies in front of him. He was sitting down and just tried to take away the lower part of the net. I should see him sit right there, takes away, save, then gets some help from Dan Girardi, who clears it and then ices it. And again, here comes Ottawa. Lundqvist down on the ice, loses his stick, makes a save there, and then Girardi ices the puck.
Broussard and Turris for the faceoff. Dangerous moments for the Rangers with Ottawa pressing, much the way Ulf Samuelsson said they would, telling John Giannone that they would open up going for it. Here's Bobby Ryan coming in.
Carlson just doesn't get tired, does he? 21 minutes and 13 seconds through 2 periods after playing 32-41 last night.
He's one of those players, Joe, you know, he can play 35, 40 minutes a night.
He reminds me, he's a freak of nature like Brian Leach, where they get to the bench, they need about 10 seconds to take a breath, towel down, and get back on the ice. They can play all night.
Let's go Rangers chant up from the crowd. Chris Neal moves in against Mark Stahl. Stahl pokes it away. JT Miller. Neal on him, rides him down, takes the puck, and he gets shoved away by Mark Stahl. And Jesper Fast brings it out. Fast against Chris Weidman. Rangers with a 2-1 lead. 2 power play goals in the first period. Ryan McDonough and Derek Broussard getting the goals. Ottawa with a goal in the second period credited to Mark Mathot, deflected in went off of Mark Stahl. In deep off the corner boards. McElrath bumped by Shane Prince.
He's back with Yandel as his partner.
McElrath just shoved down Alex Chiasson. There's his strength on that one. Yandel stick handles in. Shoot, save, Anderson. Carlson, nice move by Keith Yandel. Yandel's last half a dozen games, he's really played well.
Yeah, coaches really like what he's doing.
Chiasson in deep. Chiasson picked up by McElrath. Now Pajot. Yandel able to knock it away. Moved up the boards to Victor Stalberg. Off the skates of Tanner Glass. Pajot has it back. Moves in against McDonough. The shot by Lazar went wide. Lindbergh trying to move it. Pajot's got it. Pajot out to Carlson. Quickly to him. Good move by Kreider. Got out to Carlson quickly. Pajot in the corner. Puck pops loose to Kreider. There's McElrath to Kreider. Long shift for Dylan McElrath. Kreider's shot stick to side by Anderson. Kreider winds it behind the net. Jared Cowan there for Ottawa. Little over 4 minutes gone by. Third period. Rangers a 2-1 lead as Boyle fires in high off the glass. Cowan pressured on the play. Good play by Nash. Shot by Lindbergh, a save by Anderson. Shot by Hayes, a save by Anderson.
Well, remember those two.
Ooh.
Excellent play by Nash. And Lindbergh almost had another one.
Cody Ceci was stopped on the play. We had a chance to talk with Rick Wamsley, assistant coach of the Senators, before the game about Craig Anderson, and he was praising his play.
Well, he's been great. And he said before the game, he said,
that shot blocked, didn't get through.
Says he's not tired. This is 11 in a row. I asked him about winning here all the time and having success that he's had. He says, I can't figure it out. He says different players, different teams, and it just, for some reason,
it works.
It works, it happens, and with no explanation.
Boyle cleared it off the glass. Back for Borowiecki. 5:10 gone by here in the third. Borowiecki holding. Rangers have Brassard on the forecheck. That pass missed connection. Goes all the way down. Icing on Ottawa. 5:21 gone by in the third.
Well, Rangers with a couple of great chances. And this time they forced Anderson to make the save. There's Lindberg on the feet from Nash. And then the turnaround shot by Hayes. And Anderson is there again. Cowan was pressured by Nash, who stole the puck. And that led to those two chances. And Anderson comes up with big saves.
23 shots for the Rangers, 22 for Ottawa. There's Craig Anderson.
Boy, Dominic Moore's been excellent on face-offs in this game. 8-1 through 2 periods.
Moore chased. Turris against Brassard.
You can tell Turris is hurt, can't you, Sam? I mean, he's played a lot, but he's got wonderful speed, and generally you see him in the open ice with the puck.
Girardi passed to Brassard in front. A save by Anderson as Dominic Moore was knocked down as he tried to get a shot off.
Yeah, he didn't get all of the shots, Sam. It went right off looked like the heel of his stick. He got enough of it that where Anderson was forced to make a left leg save to keep it out of the net.
Moore winds it deep. Caroms off the back of the net. And the Thought moves it out. Right back in. Anderson stops it, leaves it for Erik Karlsson. Ahead Turris. Moving in was Shane Prince, but he was stopped by Dan Boyle. A little over 6 minutes gone by in the third period. Rangers with a 2-1 lead. 5 players along the board. Jarrett Stoll comes out with the puck. Around for Ståhlberg, who clears it out of the zone.
Yeah, that was Brassard that was on the ice with Dominic Moore. Dominic Moore gets thrown out of the faceoff circle, and Brassard wins it. And that's what led to the chance.
Ball ridden to the boards. Kreider chips it off the boards. Racing for it. Ståhlberg cuts in on Karlsson, who got a good piece of him and bumped him off the play.
Well, Karlsson closed in a hurry.
Back the other way, Shane Prince leads it for Jasinski. Shoots high and wide. Jasinski toward the net. That was blocked and deflects out of play. 6:52 gone by. Third period. Rangers lead the Senators 2-1. Let's answer the Cadillac trivia question. Oscar Lindberg tied for second in rookie goal scoring with 10. Who was the last Ranger to finish an NHL season leading the league in rookie goal scoring?
I think it's Mike York.
How about Peter Pruka?
Wow. All right.
And Mike York. Joe, you got it. That's a good one. I don't know. I might have to make another appeal. Peter Pruka scored 30 goals one year as a rookie. That didn't lead. Meanwhile, Craig Anderson having problems with his left pad.
Oh, he had the pad off the leg, and he was working on it at the bench, trying to fix something, and you can see him. He's just scrambling. They're giving him enough time to get this pad fixed. He's going to do the rest of it on the way there, back to the net. They have so much time, or they got to replace him with the backup, and the backup hasn't played in over 2 weeks, and he's a rookie that's played in Binghamton, American Hockey League. Look at that.
He's really hurrying here, Joe.
I'll tell you what, he's scrambling to get this pad back on, and seems to be all set and ready now in the Ottawa goal.
That is Chris Drieger, a backup goaltender.
Hammond, their other goaltender, is still out with a concussion. He's with the team. They're on a 4-game trip starting tonight. He is with the team, but has not been cleared to play yet.
Long dump in. McDonough is on Zach Smith. McDonough with a good play. Kreider comes out with it. Already put in the Ottawa zone. Mark Berthoud's got it. Turris slowed down by Zuccarello. Rangers clear it out. Lindberg tried to take it away. Puts it in the Ottawa zone, and Karlsson. 7:40 gone by, third period. Rangers with a 2-1 lead. Hayes. And back in the Ottawa zone. Rangers breaking up a lot of Ottawa plays here. Doing a good job preventing Ottawa from gaining the zone. Zibanejad getting it to Ryan. Zibanejad's pass through taken by Brassard. Boyle leads Hayes. Hayes against Jared Cowan. Spins, fires, stick save, Anderson. Brassard leaves it for Zuccarello. Up the boards, Girardi with a blast save by Anderson. JT Miller down low. Zuccarello's deflection try was blocked. And the Senators able to take it back. Bobby Ryan has it. Now Erik Karlsson.
Stay.
Cowan. And Chiasson turns back.
Rangers are doing a heck of a job here. Ottawa's got puck control, but they can't find a lane or a player that's open to move the puck out. Finally, a little flip pass there down the ice, and that's an icing.
Yep.
Boy, what a job by the Rangers here.
8:53 gone by in the third period. United by Blue, game day and every day. Experience the official Rangers app to get more on game day and connect to breaking news, live game stats, enhanced calendar, and a whole lot more. The official Rangers app. Karlsson one-hands it back to Cowan. Good play. Rangers forced a turnover. Nash intercepted. Nash with a puck toward the net. Knocked down. Chipped in front. Went through the crease. Out comes Lazar. Good play at the line by McElrath. Lindbergh took a hit in center from Chiasson. Put the puck into the Ottawa zone. Ceci moves it. Borowiecki up the board. Sherzinski chipped it into the Ranger zone. Yandel there to play. Right back out. Center glass got knocked down. Cody Ceci moves it up ahead. Chris Neal for Mikko Zibanejad. Neal with a shot that's stopped by Lundqvist. Sherzinski out to Ceci. Winds up. Big drive. Deflects wide. Borowiecki's shot is behind the net. Around to Ceci. Wristed, a deflection goes up into the netting and play stops. 10:02 to go in the third period. And the Rangers a 2-1 lead. Coming up, the Foxwoods Final Five. Foxwoods, the wonder of it all.
That's that fourth line again for Ottawa. They've been pretty good. Play all that many minutes last night, so they've got, a little bit more energy in this game. And again, Henrik Lundqvist continues just to be very steady, but you better keep an eye on that man right there. Number 6 is a dangerous player.
Last night, the Islanders were successful in shutting the Senators down into the middle. Here's a chance for Brassard. He scores! Derek Brassard with his second goal of the game, and it's 3-1 Rangers.
Right from the face-off, Brassard wins it, which he's been good winning face-off. Now this puck will bounce over the stick right there at Wideman. And Brassard was on the other side of him. Brassard anticipated that maybe he'll get a bounce here. And he does. Over Wideman's stick. And Brassard with the finish. What a shot. Just inside the post. And you could hear a collective sigh here at Madison Square Garden as the goal by Brassard regains the Rangers' 2-goal lead.
That was a big one. His 9th goal of the season, 2nd of the game.
He hasn't been great on faceoffs tonight, Sam, but he came into this game still over 54% on the season. Been very steady, but wins that faceoff, and that leads to his goal.
As I was starting to say, Ottawa is such a dangerous team because they have these outstanding offensive players. Rangers needed that goal, a big goal. Jason against Yandel. Now Lazar picked up by McElrath. All the way around to Mathot.
And number 5, James Girardi.
Jason.
10 minutes, 8 seconds. Lazar is
On the boards, Lazar, he's double teamed.
at 10:08.
Pajot up to Mathot, out to him, Dominic Moore. J.T. Miller tied up by Lazar. Pajot checked by Yandel. Out to Carlson, looking for Lane toward the net, but it was blocked. Good job by Foss getting that right on Erik Karlsson, not giving him any room to do anything. Puck turned over. Mark Stahl's got it. In deep, Anderson stops it. 8:35 to go in the third. The Rangers with a 2-goal lead for the second time of the game. Puck going all the way down, icing on Ottawa.
Yeah, Ryan McDonagh with a 3-point night for the Rangers. A goal and 2 assists.
And that ties the career high for him. And for Derek Brassard, a 2-goal game. He's the captain. Lindbergh on the face-off against Zach Smith. Ball start. The linesman talks to Zach Smith. Sets them again. Won by Lindbergh. Nash plays it in front. Anderson with a right pad save as Kreider got a little bit of it. Puck was rolling toward the net. Karlsson. Karlsson looks, lifts a pass across for Mark Stone. It's whistled down. Offside was called on the play. 8:03 to go in the third period. Rangers with a 3-1 lead thanks to Derek Brassard, second of the game. 3 goals for the Rangers. Time for our Papa John's third goal replay.
Yeah, right off the face-off, and that's McDonagh. He'll get it back. Here's why this is a good play, because he feels the pressure, and he has to make a quick decision with the puck. He gets it down the ice. They get the fortuitous bounce, does Brassard, after winning the face-off. And he scores that goal to give the Rangers a little bit of insurance.
The day after the Rangers score 3 or more goals, get 50% off your regular menu-priced online order at papajohns.com with promo code Rangers3. Available at participating Papa John's locations.
Damn, you know, the Rangers defense have been so used to being able to make that first quick pass coming out of their zone. This year, the opposition, they're playing them differently. They're getting on them quickly so they don't have time. And sometimes you just have to make the smart play. Just get it out of the zone. And McDonagh makes the quick play, and it turns into a goal.
Derek Brassard has never had a regular season hat trick. He's had one in the playoffs last season. Here's Brassard against Cowan, forced back, maintains possession. Pass across for Zuccarello. Couldn't get a shot off as he was checked by Chiasson. Boyle across to Yandel, saved by Anderson and no rebound. 7:33 to go in the third period. Wednesday night on MSG Plus, the Rangers start a 3-game road trip to Western Canada in Vancouver against the Canucks. Live coverage begins at 9:30 with Visa Rangers Game Night with Bill Pito. Rangers and Canucks Wednesday night on MSG Plus. Hope you'll join us. Derek Brassard goes off. Some words to the referee. Jared Stoll wins the faceoff back to Dan Boyle. The shot blocked in front by Karlsson. Jasinski for Ottawa. 7:20 to go in the third. Rangers with a 3-1 lead. Stahl bangs it off the boards. Mathot. Zibanejad finds an open man. That shot blocked. Good play by Stolberg, getting in front of Erik Karlsson's big slap shot. Tipped out by Stolberg.
And now Zibanejad moves up with Neal and Jasinski. Neal and Jasinski, they worked hard. They spent a lot of time in the Rangers' end, and there's a big hit.
On Boyle by Jasinski. Frost sends it deep. Anderson plays it up the boards. Miller. Puck pops loose and Kyle Turris moves it. Lundqvist plays it back up the boards. Rangers have done a good job in limiting Ottawa here in the third period.
Just 2 shots on goal for Ottawa here in the third.
Turris was stopped. Nash with a good job.
Yeah, another good play. Rangers positionally have been excellent. You know, they haven't necessarily stepped away from their aggressiveness, but they're more selective about when to be aggressive.
There's Hoffman cutting in. Playing, staying with him was McDonough. The shot by Bobby Ryan, a save by Lundqvist. And with 5:55 to go in the third period, the Rangers hold a 3-1 lead. Keys to the game are brought to you by GMC. See the pros nearest you to test drive one of their award-winning trucks, crossovers, or SUVs today. Ryan McDonough with a 3-point game, a power play goal and 2 assists. First goal by a Rangers defenseman in the last 10 games. And Derek Brassard with his 5th career 2-goal game. The last one he had was November of last season. And a little conversation as we went away to commercial between referee Tim Peel and Derek Brassard and members of the Rangers.
Tim Peel was not very happy. Brassard, as he was coming off the ice, we showed him before that commercial break having a conversation with Tim Peel, and they had a pretty spirited conversation during the TV timeout, and Alain Vigneault is trying to calm everybody down. He said, everybody just relax here.
Moore and Smith for the face-off, and the linesman on the far side decides to chase both.
Yeah, both of them. They're trying to get all the players to back off. Now Carlson was up close. He's back on the left side of your screen here, lower left.
Miller and Zibanejad on the face-off. Zibanejad wins. Carlson between the legs, feed to Hoffman. Over to Mathot. Shot blocked. Nice play by McDonough. Boy, McDonough's had a good game. Kept in by Hoffman and deflected out and out of play. JT Miller got over. And here's what we were talking about before.
Tim Peel wasn't happy. That was while they were on the ice. And Tim Peel saying, just hold on, AV.
He's lecturing Brassard.
Right. And Alain Vigneault's trying to calm everybody down. Tim Peel didn't want to hear from the coach.
And that's Brad Meyer going over to talk to
Brassard saying, hey, tell your partner to relax.
Brassard wants some sympathy here.
All I'm trying to do is get a hat-trick goal. Don't bother me.
Carlson with Groom. He shoots and it's deflected. McDonough got over, got the stick on it.
Well, Sam, that statement you just made a second ago, you're right on. 3 points for McDonough. Block shots. You know, defensively, and he just sprints over there, and then look at the stick with the reach. Carlson, such a dangerous player, and McDonough makes the defensive play.
5:31 to go here in the third. Rangers leading 3-1. Trying to snap out of a stretch in which they've won only 1 game in the last 6. 1-4-1.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, that whole group, Girardi's had a much better game. Yandel, McElrath has played well again, continues to learn. Dan Boyle, I mean, that whole group as a group done a good job. They've limited Ottawa to 24 shots with 5.5 minutes to play.
Gunnar works it up the board for Moore. Carlson sends it across. Girardi got a piece of it. Rangers 30 shots on goal in the game. Ottawa 24. Ottawa only 3 shots on goal here in the third period. Lindbergh takes over.
How many times has that happened in this third period? The Rangers break up another play between the blue lines and send it back into the Ottawa zone. Here's another one.
Petrello hustled back. Dan Boyle. And the door was open and it hit the opening. inside of the gate there. And bounce back, and the whistle play to a stop.
Yeah, that's an automatic whistle because it's deemed to have left the playing surface. And so the face-off will come just outside the Ottawa blue line. Or pardon me, just in front of their bench, outside their blue line.
Broussard on with Hayes and Zuccarello. Kobe Ceci forced back by Zuccarello. Stahl comes back for the puck. Torres was after him. Kept in by Bobby Ryan. And that's worked out by Zuccarello. 4:20 to go in the third period. Zuccarello. Now Broussard. The pass was knocked down by Stone. There's Mark Stone with the puck. Hayes. Off the glass. Zuccarello racing for it. Carlson coming back. Carlson gets there, and it's an icing on the Rangers. You're watching the Foxwoods Final Five. Foxwoods, the wonder of it all. Visit foxwoods.com now. Join us Wednesday night, Rangers in Vancouver. And then Friday night, very special night, as Rangers president Glenn Sather is honored.
That'll be a great
the
night.
Edmonton
I'm
Oilers.
looking forward to that, Sam. I mean, that's going to be a special night in Edmonton.
It'll be a gala affair in his honor on Thursday night. And then on Friday, the ceremonies get underway at 8 p.m. We'll have it for you right here on MSG.
He started with the World Hockey Association team there. And then when they came into the NHL, he continued to coach, be the GM. What a franchise that's been over the years, especially the time he was there.
He helped build them into the champions, the great championship teams. He helped start so many great careers.
And a few Hall of Famers on those teams.
More than a few. You're right, Joe. You are right. Tanner Glass playing it across. Stahl dumps it in. 3:20 to go in the third. Pressure by Dominic Moore. Castillo. Lundqvist out to play it. On the backhand off the glass. And Fott trying to keep it in. What a block by J.T. Miller.
Now this has been a clinic the way they played this third period.
Very smart. Great positional play, as you pointed out. Anderson got a stick on that. Moore winds it behind the net. 2:50 to go.
Yeah, this is something we've seen a lot in the last couple of years. Maybe this might be their best third period of the season right here.
Boyle back for it. Kaiser was able to move it. Then it's sent around. Shot by Cody Ceci went wide. That shot blocked in front by Boyle. Yandel blocks that and takes the puck out of the zone. Kreider. Rangers are changing. Kreider deep against Carlson. 2:20 to go. We'll watch to see if Dave Cameron pulls Craig Anderson. Anderson sliding out, goes to the bench. Ottawa's net is empty. They're down by 2. Shot by Hoffman, blocked by Girardi.
Oh, that hurt. The way Hoffman shoots it. Here's another chance.
Hoffman again, and somebody got a stick on that.
That hit the netting.
Nash went up out of play, but I think Nash might have gotten a stick on it. Faceoff stays in the Rangers zone. 2:02 to go.
And Dan Girardi stays on the ice. That was a beautiful block of the shot by Hoffman. Boy, they've done a wonderful job against Hoffman. Has been maybe probably the hottest goal scorer in the league. And he hasn't had many chances. He took that one. Girardi made an excellent block. And so now Jared Stoll, who takes most of his face-offs in the defensive zone, his job is to beat Turris on this one. He did, but they'll drop it again.
Hoffman with goals in 4 straight games and 6 out of the last 7. You're right, he is a dangerous man. This game's still a long way from being over, the way Ottawa can score. 6 skaters on for Ottawa. Their net is empty. Stoll wins the faceoff. McDonough fires it around the boards. Broussard tried to chip it out. Carlson kept it in. Girardi gets to it. Out of the zone to Zuccarello. Net is empty. Oh, he tried to feed Broussard, but it was knocked down. Would have been an empty net hat-trick goal. And whistle, hand pass against Ottawa. Minute 44 to go. Stay with us. After the conclusion of the game, we've got complete post-game coverage coming your way on Mercedes-Benz Rangers post-game. John Giannone works the locker room. We'll hear from the players. We'll hear from head coach Alain Vigneault. Al Trautwig anchors with Steve Valiquette and Ron Duguay. Joe Micheletti and Dave Maloney will have their analysis as well, all coming up on Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame. Minute 40 to go. Rangers up by 2. McDonough off the boards, up in the air and down in center. Here's Foss to the empty net. He scores! Jesper Foss wasn't wasting any time. Grabbed the puck and fired it in. 4-1 Rangers.
Yeah, it starts with McDonough. Again, McDonough has to get rid of the puck quickly. And he has to make sure he puts something on it. So he puts it past 3, even 4 of those Ottawa Senators. And when it gets to the neutral zone, he'll spinorama by Jesper Foss off the post and in. And the Rangers will win this one.
He's got 12 games without a goal, so
they all feel
that
good.
Feels good.
Right.
So the Rangers come off a couple of days off with a real solid effort here at Madison Square Garden. Taking advantage of an Ottawa team that played a tough game last night at home against the Islanders. And the Rangers, who are 3rd in the conference, 4th in the league standings, will add 2 points to the record as they head out to Western Canada for a 3-game road trip.
Puts them ahead of Washington.
Chris Neal under a minute to go in the game. Weidman, that's deflected, bounces off the glass. McElrath comes away with the puck. Comes with Neal, and whistle, a hand pass again. That'll be against Ottawa. 44.9 to go.
Again, the Rangers have held Ottawa to just 3 shots on goal here in this period. And the other times when Ottawa had a chance to get to the net, the Rangers as a group, you mentioned Miller blocking a shot. We saw Girardi blocking a shot. They just did what they had to do in this 3rd period.
Now, 3rd period, Rangers team defense was brilliant. 2nd period, Henrik Lundqvist gave the Rangers a big lift with great goaltending in the 2nd period. And it'll be win number 14 on the season for Henrik Lundqvist, who is 2nd in the league in wins with 14. 2nd to Braden Holtby, who leads the league with 16. Dominic Moore with the puck. Try to cut in. Jared Cowan stopped in. Mark Stahl goes back to get it. Cheers starting to build. As the final seconds tick off. They're on their feet at the Garden. And the Rangers defeat the Ottawa Senators 4-1. .353rd career win for Henrik Lundqvist, tied with Evgeny Nabokov for 18th all-time. Derek Brassard with a 2-goal game. The captain, Ryan McDonough, with a 3-point game and some outstanding defense. But the overall team defense was outstanding.
Yeah, it really was, Sam. As a group, the defensemen played well. And this Ranger team, I think, has become well-known across the league when they have leads going into the 3rd period. It hasn't been as easy this season, even though they've got the victories. But in this game, in this one tonight, it was absolutely just about a perfect 3rd period the way they played.
Rangers lead the league in goals against average, and they give up 1 goal tonight, and that's will only improve their standing in the goals against average department. Rangers will head west for the next 3 games. As Zuccarello and Kreider go at it. Zuccarello was probably giving him the needle.
Yeah, it's fun to win, isn't it?
Boy, the
It's
smiles.
fun to win.
It's a good feeling. And now our 3 stars of the game are brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers on the web at MBUSA.com.
The third star.
Third star.
With 23 saves for his 14th win of the season.
Henrik Lundqvist. How many times? Very few games this season he hasn't been one of the 3 stars.
Right. You know what? And it was good for the Rangers to give him a break in the 3rd period. He did his thing in the 2nd period and had an easy 3rd period of it.
Number 16, Derek.
And with 2 goals, Derek Brassard is the number 2 star of the game. Solid game, including a power play goal. Rangers going 2 for 2 on the power play in the game, and 2 for 2 penalty killing. And there's the captain, the number 1 star of the game, Ryan McDonagh.
Boy, he was just so good in all aspects of the game. He had the offensive night. You know, he had to try and slow down. You know, they did a great job on Hoffman. He was on the ice most of the night when Hoffman was out there.
All
Really
good
strong.
things.
Yeah.
A lot of good things tonight. A good effort by the Rangers. One of those efforts by Henrik Lundqvist. We'll be back with more from the Garden in just a moment.